Welcome back to Heretic Owl Tarot. Heretic. I like the way that Heretic Owl sounds better than Heretic Owl. So it's, anyway. I always get kind of stuck on that. Oh my gosh, where's Owly? Hold on. There they are. We can't do this without them. All right. So, if you're here, you may be a heretic hermit or heretic hermit, or you may be like, what the hell is this? Clearly, we're continuing with our Messages by Human Design profile. If you don't know your profile, I included a link in the description below so you can get your profile. You'll just need the same information that you need for your natal chart. So your birth date, time, and location. Human design is a little bit more finicky with the time because depending on the time of day, it can change certain aspects in your chart. So if you don't know the exact time that you were born, maybe you have an intuition that you were born during a certain time of day. Maybe throughout your life, you have heard that you were born at a certain time of day, like morning, afternoon, evening, overnight. You can just use a time that correlates to that time of day. Otherwise, I mean, you can certainly use noon, or, you can play around with the times in there and see if it does change anything for you. It sometimes doesn't. Like for me, it doesn't matter what time I was born. Let me close the door. Hold on. Oh my gosh. Sorry about that. Seriously, my neighbor's dogs literally bark nonstop all day. And then my dog does too. Anyway, it's a whole thing. So, for my design, it does not matter what time of day I was born on that date. I was going to be a 5/1 manifesting generator. But like for my dad, depending on the time of day, it did change his type, maybe his profile too. So anyway, I just, again, you can play around in there and just put in different times of day and see if it does change anything for you. Sometimes it doesn't. But then you'll get a body graph that looks like this without the notes. So you'll be given your type, your profile, your definition, your inner authority, strategy, not self-theme, and incarnation cross. Not necessarily in that order. And of course, for the purposes of these messages, we're using your profile. Certainly not the most important thing. I think the cool thing about human design is that everything works together in conjunction. So, your strategy and authority, you hear people talk about that a lot because that helps you kind of navigate and enter into the correct experiences, while the profile kind of helps you understand how your relationships with people and the energies work. So again, they just work in tandem with each other. But the profile is kind of what blew my mind when I first started looking into human design. And it was really the first time I had felt like I had been seen and validated in my experience. And then after that, I was like, I need to know absolutely everything there is to know about this. So without further ado, we'll get into, we read the background section out of the Definitive Book of Human Design the last time. And this time we're going to read the personal section and then we'll get into the reading. So the personal is this part here and these two paragraphs. And then of course we'll get into the tarot portion. So it says, you are deeply gifted in an unusual way. Let me just really quick sidebar. I'm really struggling with words lately, like the last 2 or 3 weeks. I keep telling myself that I'm going through a throat chakra upgrade, and I hope that's the case. But forgive me in advance if I'm like just totally stumbling over my words here. So, you are deeply gifted in an unusual way. and it is very important for you to understand how to engage with life. What you are waiting for is the correct internal call to something revolutionary, something you can lead others to that lies beyond the mundane plane. Once properly engaged, you are empowered to selflessly nourish those you are here to support, while providing for your own material needs at the same time. Unlike 5-1s who universalize the foundation, something they have investigated and studied, you are universalizing your own natural talents and gifts. This is personal, and you can feel very vulnerable. When you are called to step in and help, you are asking people to believe in you. You have to stand on your charismatic power alone, and this can create much uncertainty. Your second line genius is unconscious and buried deep inside you, and it is difficult for you to know when you have received the correct call. You were called through the projection field, and it is imperative to your success and reputation that you understand how to make correct decisions by using your strategy and authority. Only when you have recognized the correct call can you fulfill the projection. The 5th line in your profile starts with a positive projection from others that you can deliver what they need and want. And the moment you don't fulfill that projection, your reputation suffers. This is a transpersonal profile, and your reputation can suffer on a wide scale. Therefore, it is even more important for you to understand how to make correct decisions from your own authority and not the projection field. It is a necessity for you and also a relief to get away from the projection of others as you feel naturally and comfortably complete and are happy to be alone with yourself. Your second line unconscious body needs its special hermit alone time to stay healthy and to nurture your natural gifts and talents. As a hermit, you have no inherent interest in improving what you do naturally or proving to yourself or others what you hold to be true. And as a heretic, you are not comfortable being projected upon by just any person in crisis to provide practical solutions or to fulfill hopes and expectations. If you experience many failures in living up to others' projections, this can negatively reinforce your tendency for aloneness. You can feel uncertain about what you actually can do and get overwhelmed and confused by so many projections. If pushed to an unhealthy extreme, you may choose to insulate yourself from all outside expectations and then endure the reputation of an underachiever or hoarder who refuses to empower and universalize your gifts for the benefit of others. Does that sound like you? Very interesting. I'm kind of letting all of that sink in for a second. Like the things that are sticking out the most to me are how it's kind of like that internal call. So again, I know we were talking last time that you are your own motivation. You stimulate yourself. So, when you do get those projections from outside people, right? Like it was saying about, you could save us or you could lead us or you could provide, leadership or whatever. And if it's not something that you even have an interest in or that you feel like you kind of have an ability or kind of a natural talent to do, it's not even something that you should entertain. And that's where that strategy and authority comes in, because the whole purpose, again, of your strategy and authority is to help you understand, if, is this experience correct for me or not? Am I getting a yes or no answer from my body, like from my authority on this thing? So definitely, of course, you know, like check that out if you haven't already. There's so many great resources on YouTube. There's a lot of amazing blogs out there. Just a lot of helpful information. You can also take a look at your personality, sun and earth. These top two numbers here. The number before the dot is the gate that's activated in the chart. And then after the dot is the line. So that's where we get our profile from, is the top two numbers. But you can take a look at your personality or your conscious sun and earth placements to see kind of how projections work for you. You can also like message me on Instagram and I can send you that information. But really, like, what it comes down to is that you have to have an interest, right? And if you try to fulfill projections on something that, you don't naturally have a gift or a talent or even an interest in, that's when, shit starts getting funky and, you're not living up to the projection field. People are going to be like, what the hell is this? So yeah, like it was saying, the unusual gifts, and it is really pretty vulnerable, especially putting yourself out there like that. But I think too, and just for the purpose of, I'm shuffling a million times. We're going to do a 6-card spread, just 2 rows of 3. And, I know we're getting there because cards are starting to pop out. So we will get there. What was I going to say? Does it matter? I don't think so. You can also take a look at your incarnation cross. That kind of gives you a little bit more information as far as purpose goes. Here we go. There we go. Sorry, these are newer cards, so they're shedding a little bit. All right, message for our Heretic Hermits. 5 of Wands, Wheel of Fortune, the Fool, 8 of Cups, 6 of Cups, and the Queen of Cups. Well, how interesting is that? And then the 7 of Swords at the bottom of the deck. Great. So we'll go through each one of these cards as we do, and put the story together here for you. So I start with the 5 of Wands. And, wands talk about action, communication. There's a lot of creativity and passion that goes into the wands. I also see them as being information cards, either receiving or giving information. And with the 5s, they are conflict cards, but it's like, a transitionary energy You know, it's kind of that space, that awkward space between, which is why change sucks. It can be uncomfortable sometimes. But, you know, with the Five of Wands, there's also this level of discipline and training that goes into it because, and I always think of Mulan. You know, like when they, if you've seen it, I'm just like assuming everybody has seen Mulan, but you know, when they are in that camp and they're going through warrior training, that's what this is, because what comes after the Five of Wands is the Six of Wands, and that talks about success and victory. Like you won that battle, right? But also, you know, it's interesting because the imagery on this card, there's a couple snakes and the wands are going into them. And I'm getting this feeling that it's like either you are resisting growth or like resisting change because, you know, snakes shed their skin, right? Like in order to grow or do what they do. I'm not like a snake expert. If that's not what they do, or if that's not the purpose of why they shed their skin, let me know. But you know, so it's almost kind of like, you know, their skin is almost like being held in place by these wands. So like I said, it has this feeling of resisting growth or even resisting change. This could even be, you know, kind of being a bit in that hermit energy too much, where you are hiding out versus taking time away. You know, like there is a difference between hiding out and just kind of taking alone time to rejuvenate and have healthy boundaries and all of that stuff. And we have the Eight of Cups at, or underneath that. And the Eight of Cups talks about moving beyond an energy. And it's so interesting because both of these cards, right? Like the card that follows the Five of Wands is the success, victory card, right? And the card that follows the Eight of Cups is the Nine of Cups, which is wish fulfillment, desires being met, right? Feeling fulfilled. So again, there's like kind of this energy of keeping yourself stuck and not wanting to move on. Like maybe there has been, you know, the book was talking about, maybe there has been enough times where, you know, the projection field got you and your reputation suffered and all of that. Right? So maybe this could be kind of falling into that energy of just not showing up, not being present, not even attempting. But this can also be that you are re-engaging. Obviously, like it really kind of depends on your situation. Because like I said, with this Five of Wands, this is that time of conditioning and training and really kind of putting in the effort, right? Like really going for it. Giving it all that you got, even if it is kicking your ass a little bit. And the Eight of Cups is moving beyond the thing because they are, you know, heading towards the Nine of Cups. So this could be an energy that you're in now too, where you're like, okay, you know, like I'm ready to kind of re-enter, right? But also like based on your own internal calling, like that's where it's got to come from, not from other people. And then we have the Wheel of Fortune and the Six of Cups. Like this almost kind of feels like that. The Wheel of Fortune talks about you know, like your luck changing. I wanted to grab the book really quick. It says, "The three fates measure, cut, and weave together the destinies of souls. The Wheel of Fortune refers to the truth that there are always good and bad times in our lives. The lesson of this card is acceptance. We must ride the waves up and down, to accept the hard things and to be grateful for the gifts when the good times come. The Wheel of Fortune asks us to accept our fate, but also encourages us to take a hand in it. We can influence the events in our lives and our emotional responses to those events. Practice gratitude for when you pour positive energy outwards. The result will always come back to you in kind." I love that. Because again, this almost like just kind of reinforces what I was talking about, like maybe getting a little bit lost in that up and down. Oh my gosh, and it just another animated classic. I just started thinking about Hercules, and the three fates with their little string and their scissors. Anyway, because yeah, the Six of Cups talks about reflection. It generally talks about like childhood. I always kind of see it as being like an inner child card. I also do find it interesting that the bottom three cards are all cups cards, really asking us to sink into our emotions, right? Like get into our emotional body. The 6 cup bearing figures stand around a surfacing whale. The 6 of Cups is a card about memory, innocence, and childhood. It is a reminder of the past, both the good moments you've had as well as the struggles you've faced. Allow the child within to gain control of your actions. Your inner innocence and wonder are powerful tools that can help through any difficult times. Again, literally like these two cards, I feel like they, just kind of confirmed one another. These two cards did the same thing. But I do just want to say, one of the greatest gifts that I've come to understand about, because I'm a 5/1 profile. So I understand that 5th line projection thing. And honestly, it's fucked me up like throughout the years. And I think that is the thing that, just really kind of like blew my mind. And I think one of the amazing gifts that I've received from learning about that 5th line is that understanding that those projections are not mine. The projections have nothing really to do with me. It's other people projecting their shit, right? And it really allowed me, because a lot of human design also is about deconditioning old shit. Nobody escapes childhood without conditioning in some capacity, right? So, it's about, this talks about acceptance, right? And understanding that there's good times, there's bad times. Of course, right? I mean, that's life. But, if this is the energy of like, either resistance or just kind of maybe being stuck in not wanting to come out of that cave because there may be some worry about projections from others, I would say that the best thing that you could possibly do is to really recognize, like I said, that, like those projections are other people's shit. Like, I mean, that they are literally projecting onto you. And, there's this amazing opportunity to get very clear and confident in who you are and what you're capable of, what you're not capable of. What are you willing to tolerate? What are you not willing to tolerate? Right? Like even going through some of this old stuff that's maybe kind of kept you a bit tied down, and cipher through that. Like, was that something that I believed to be true of myself, or was it a projection? And 9 times out of 10, it's a projection. So again, it gives you this ability to really get clear in who you are. Like, who am I really? What do I think about myself? And especially for you, because, it talks about needing to have your own internal call. You are your own stimulus. You are your own meditation. If you need to meditate, highly recommend. You are your own motivation, though, right? And you get to decide what projections you want to get involved in. And that has to do with your strategy and authority. So again, going back to that, take a look at that. Because then, we're going on this journey, right? And then we come to the Fool. And the Fool talks about unlimited possibilities. Let me read. I love reading from books because it helps me broaden my knowledge of the cards. A girl rides her broomstick through a sky filled with birds, getting dangerously close to the sun. The Fool is shown at the beginning of her journey, symbolizing unlimited potential. This card tells us that each day is an adventure. The Fool upright in a reading tells us that now is a time to be foolhardy and to set out on a new adventure without worrying too much about the consequences. It is easy to hum and haw over the dangers of living without ever actually going for what we want. This card tells you to trust and enjoy life, and that we will only grow through experience. I love that because, it's almost kind of like inviting you out, or giving you something to respond to, or, like, it's time to get back in the saddle, get back on the broom, right? And then the Queen of Cups says the Queen swims towards the light. Again, both of these cards going towards a light. The Queen of Cups represents a powerful, intuitive wave in your life. Frequently, it presents itself as a strong female or a creative boon. The Queen brings a strong connection with subconscious desires and the ability to empathize with others. Be sure not to lose yourself to the needs of others who may come to you for aid. Creativity and imagination are powerful traits in the presence of the Queen, and now may be the ideal time to pour your energies into a new work project or hobby. Absolutely. I love how both of these cards are heading towards the light. It's like, kind of keeping that in focus, keeping your intention in focus. And again, right, like not necessarily getting lost in, I'm just going to translate it to the projection of others. Which I know, like it may not be easy. Like this is, probably a lot of, a lot of stuff. And of course, kind of take your time through these energies, but it is just kind of saying like, yo, it is time to kind of step out of that and allow, like this change and growth. Accept, what has happened, and, allow yourself to kind of embark on this new journey. We have the Seven of Swords here. And this to me, just kind of has this feeling of, quit fooling yourself. Because the Seven of Swords talks about, it can be a bit of a sneaky energy. It can talk about betrayal, kind of those lower level energies. We have this raccoon that's taken off with these swords here. Again, just kind of being sneaky, but, it's also about like taking a risk. And this, like I said, like there's also this energy of, quit fooling yourself into believing that you even want to stay in these energies, because I don't really think that you do. I don't really think that's comfortable. I know that vulnerability can be uncomfortable too. However, it's like a different level of discomfort because it's different when you're showing yourself, right? Like there's like an empowering kind of thing to it, but it's also like, am I going to be accepted or not? We're not going to, we get to decide if we accept ourselves, right? That's it. And what's awesome is behind that we have the Ace of Cups. Amazing. Like feeling good, feeling like our cup is overflowing. There could even be other people around that fill our cup. This could be finding your tribe. It could be finding, like that thing that you, that revolutionary thing that it was talking about. It could be that. We have the 10 of Pentacles behind that. So, the 10 of Pentacles talks about legacy, abundance, having enough for yourself and for other people. So again, it's like right beyond this fooling yourself thing are these amazing opportunities, these amazing options here. And it's kind of like, just get out of your own way. And it's not to say that you have to just come out swinging, right? You don't necessarily have to do that unless that's what you feel called to do. But again, check in with that strategy and authority, really get to know what your strategy and authority is. And then, start getting involved with your life again. I love this. I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much for being here. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.